just because it's really hard to chase them down. The other one is for Rise, which speed great against Rise, in my opinion, anyways. And the other page is like 14% attack speed.
Here, just tell me the numbers of the rune
Okay,
pages.
so 20, 2010, and
2010. So
any
20.
other one, 20, 2010 and 13. Oh,
Okay. All right. So, these rune pages, like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, personally, just from my perspective, I don't really like these rune pages. Um, like, the move speed one, yeah, like it's in like certain situations, it could be useful, but Irelia has enough mobility just built into her kit and her item path to where it's not really like all that necessary. Um, and then the CDR, like, yeah, that one could like work. It's the CDR. Like, if you're against an all AD team, MR isn't really gonna do you much. So having a page that's dedicated to that, isn't necessarily a bad idea. But once again, I don't think the move speed's quite necessary. Because like you build the phage, which gives you 20 move speed on hit or 60 move speed when you kill a minion or champion. So you generally just won't have that problem if you're building correctly with your runes and masteries. Because once you get your Triforce, you should be able to one-shot caster minions with your WQ combo, and that's just like really strong for the mobility field. It just allows you to get around really quickly. Um, that's my preference though. Like when I play Irelia, I run flat AD reds because that allows you to last hit under tower a little easier and trade a little better in the early stages of the game when your W isn't quite as strong. I do flat armor or scaling health yellows depending on, or maybe even scaling armor sometimes yellows depending on the kind of matchup I'm in. If I'm up against like a heavy AP team, I'll go with the health, or if I need to like armor later, I'll go with the scaling armor. Scaling MR generally in all pages unless I'm up against a full AD team and there's no MR to be seen. Then I'll run like CDR or something like that. That's where I do that. And then attack speed quints. It just gives you a nice rounded balance of stats that essentially will allow you to trade early, last hit when you're in your weakest point, and scale well into your Triforce mid-game power spike where you're going to be the strongest. So, like, does that kind of make sense?
yeah, it makes sense to me. Yes.
Yeah, like, because I just don't feel like, just personally, I don't feel the move speed's like necessary. Like, I haven't really used move speed on anyone since Rise for a while now, so I don't know about the viability of it in like the jungle or something like that. But in top lane, they're generally not used because there's just better quints out there. Because a lot of the top laners have built-in mobility or gap closers or something like that.
Okay. And then so there's two mastery pages I usually use. I usually stick to 921 or 21.9.
Yeah,
Um,
21.9's good.
it's my second mastery page. Is the one that I generally use.
Oh yeah, by the way, oh yeah, you are in queue. Okay, it didn't say stupid leak client. Sorry about that.
I don't know if I want to take ignite or not.
Okay, so number two.
Mm,
Yeah, that's fine. That's a good mastery page. If you're looking to play like aggressive into an aggressive matchup, like something like melee versus melee, or something that you just know you outright win, that's a good page. What was the other one that you said you used?
there was 921, but I believe I just got rid of that. It was
Uh,
just a general like.
yeah, it just
I think I took 2 points into CDR and 2 points into attack speed, even though the attack speed's neglo. I can't talk.
yeah. When I do the 921, I just put 3 into the CDR and then 1 into Butcher and go with that for like the standard because the attack speed's completely useless. Like it's just so little at that point. Like unless you can put 2 to 3 points in it, like it's just not worth it. I feel. But that's a good mastery page for it. So, with you said you take Ignite sometimes, and
I've been taking Ignite a lot more than I usually do. I guess it really depends. If like I have a lot of kill pressure, for example, I'll run with Ignite, just to pressure harder,
yeah,
and it also depends on my team, for example.
yeah,
If I know that like we're going to be fighting for Dragon, and I can see that our team might need me or something like that, then generally I'll just run down, like I'll push top in and then.
yeah. Well, all right. So I see that you're loading in the game. Okay. I'm personally an advocate of TP, because, with Irelia, you just do so much damage already. Like, you have a lot of true damage in your kit, and you have a lot of kill pressure just by virtue of the champion, you know? Against ranged, you have the ability to close the gap and stick on them, and ranged champions are generally squishier because, they're able to keep that gap, so you can kill them easier in melees. You just have stronger dueling potential once you hit level 7 or like 6, 7. It's personal preference thing. Sometimes I'll take Ignite if I'm up in like a hard matchup, like if I'm up against like a Riven or maybe a Jace, then I'll like take Ignite, especially in solo queue, like only in solo queue. Or my mic just cut out. I'll do that in solo queue because is my mic cutting out for you? Because it's showing it's cutting out.
A little bit.
That's really weird. It only happens to Curse Voice. Huh. Is that any better?
So far, yes.
Okay. So I'll take Ignite against harder matchups like Riven, Jace, because those are really snowbally matchups. Essentially, whoever gets the first kill in that lane is gonna, start taking control of it. So you want to secure that first kill so you can start snowballing it in your favor. But TP, since Irelia has such high kill pressure already, you can, use the TP to manage minion waves for your team, help out your other lanes without like having to sacrifice so much your own lane, or just, providing pressure in general through either split pushing if you're super far ahead or whatever the situation may be. It's a little more difficult to work around it in solo queue, but there are it's a personal choice at that point. You feel free to just feel free to take whichever one you feel it would be better for you in that given situation, because it's a case by case basis, like you were saying earlier.
And then also skill order, because I know I've seen a lot of people max E, and I've taken a maxing E lately, and I know it's mainly for burst damage.
Yeah. When you max E, essentially what you're doing is you're saying, I'm not going to get into extended trades. I'm going to, like, go in, hit you once or twice, and leave before you can retaliate, because you're essentially scaling the stun, and you're also scaling with a higher burst of magic damage, as opposed to W, which does more damage like every time you auto-attack, which is better for extended trades. So you really just, if you go with the max E route, you don't want to get into these like super extended, drawn-out fights, because you'll end up losing. You want to go in, hit them with the E, whack them once or twice, and then just bail before they get unstunned and can retaliate in full force. Emax, like, it's pretty good, especially against like champions that you have a hard time against in lane, because it also allows your jungler to come and gank a lot easier.
I meant to take E level, or I meant to take W level 2, but
I actually, personally, I take Q at level 2, because, the W sustain is nice, but generally, as Irelia, you're going to want to get, like, in harder matchups, you're going to get shoved into tower, and Q just helps you last hit under the tower a little bit better, as opposed to having to pop W and waste a lot of mana like that, because Q, when you get the kill, refreshes. It also just gives you that nice little bit of added mobility. But, yeah. Is there anything in particular you want me to look out for this game, or do you just want general tips and...
just general, like if you see like me make a mistake, like for example, I'm missing a lot of creeps that I shouldn't be missing.
Yeah, and sometimes that just happens. Like, it's unfortunate, but like it just happens sometimes. Some of us just have games where it's like, oh my god, I can't farm, and maybe one of those games. So don't let it get to you that you're missing farm, because that'll like start to affect your mindset. Just keep it clean. Just be like, okay, I'm farming poorly, and I know that. So just and then just try and focus it back down so you can get that farm back under control. Because it's not something that should like tilt you by any means. Just farming poorly. I've seen a lot of people tilt themselves by just having a bad CS game.
And I used to be really like that.
Yeah.
Last season, for example, that was something I had a really big problem with. Was like I'd see myself miss just a whole bunch of farm that I knew that I shouldn't have missed, and from there, it's like I won the game for the enemy team.
Yeah, it's just like a lot of climbing the ladder is just keeping your tilt in check. That actually gets you a lot of places, because there's a lot of people who just when they make the slightest mistakes will just snowball that into bigger and bigger mistakes, and it's terrible to see happen. It's terrible to have happen to you. But just keeping positive about it, just like, yeah, I know I'm CSing poorly, and I'm gonna try and fix that starting now, and just trying to keep yourself positive about it, and not have a poor mindset. But the first one thing I do want to talk about is that last gank by Fiddlesticks. You were one. So do you know when you hit levels in lane? Like, do you know? Like, all right, so after X many minions, I'm gonna hit level 3 or 4 or something like that.
Level 2. Generally.
Okay.
Other than that, yeah, I can walk back to lane
Yeah,
using it.
yeah, you're not gonna miss much if you like. You don't need a TP right now. So yeah, buy a ward if you're still. Yeah, you did.
I bought
think
one.
you did. Okay, good. Wards, and then like if you're able to buy wards, just like kind of maybe it's not really. You can keep the warding trinket, but you definitely sweeper next time you go back. That's really really good for like those ganks, setting it up, especially since you're maxing E and you have good setup potential like that. But learning when you and your opponent both level is a really key part of laning. Like, on Irelia, you have some pretty big power spikes that come into play at like level 4 or 5, where you are starting to get able to put points into whatever ability you happen to be going for, and things like that. So learning when you hit that power spike, when you're gonna hit it, is really key. When you hit level 3, I believe after the first 3 minions of the cannon wave.
She's gonna kill me. Nope.
You live. Yeah, in this lane, after your phage, I definitely recommend rushing it. What's the enemy team like? I'm not seeing any like super hard CC, unless.
Malzahar, that's about it.
Yeah, just get a tabby. Your passive will keep you alive through the Malzahar. But you'll hit level 3 after the first 3 melee minions, and the wave after, and the cannon wave, and the wave after that will get you, after you kill that entire wave, will get you level 4. You were one caster minion away from hitting level 4 as Fiddle was walking in, and it was in Blade Surge range of health. So you could have Blade Surge to it, hit level 4, had a higher amount of burst damage and a longer stun for more CC on the Fiora, and probably forced even more out of her, or even killed her. So it's just like learning little like nuances like that, which really like step up your game as a player. Because once you master like the basics of just the game, these little nitpicky things become so important, because it's what separates essentially the good players from the great players. Like, as Riot loves to use that phrase, but it really does. It's just those little things. So it's something that you should try and like work on. Just like knowing, okay, I'm gonna hit level 3 after this minion, and my power spike is then. They're not gonna hit 3 because maybe they're like a minion behind. So if you push a little harder, then you can come out on top of a trade or something like that. So just knowing when to trade and stuff like that. Because generally, if you're pushing and hit level 3 first, you'll also have a minion advantage, which helps inherently in trades, because minions fucking hurt.
So that was a really good trade against Fiora that you had. You had a lot of
And
minions
I
backing
just
up.
forced her flash as well, so
That's good.
um, and like timers, for example, that's something I used to be really bad at until I started actually playing support.
Yeah, typing timers in chat's really good. Um, in solo queue, I know I tend to not do that as much. I just keep a mental track. But like when I'm playing with my team, yeah, I type out my timers and stuff like that because it's really good information to know. So that's really good that you do that. That's actually something that not very many people do. So good job.
I don't have any more flask stacks, and she's full health as well.
Yeah. Um, when you're going for your E max first, I actually recommend getting the Sheen first instead of the Phage.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, like in this lane, getting an earlier cloth armor, I feel would have been like a little bit like a cloth armor and a amp tome, maybe a mana crystal on your first stack would have been a little bit better. And then just going back and finishing your Sheen whenever you had the gold to do so, because that really helps with those burst trades that you're looking for with your E max, because it gives you that burst of damage on your next auto attack after you E, and then you can just walk out safely afterwards. So it goes in tandem really, and it also has the side effect of increasing your E's damage because it scales with AP. So it's just one of those things that it would have been a little better, but the Phage isn't bad. Definitely isn't a poor choice by any means because it gives you that extra survivability.
okay. I want to try to stay in lane for at least another 40 seconds so I can teleport back.
See, that's actually like a really big, like knowing how to use your, like how and when to teleport is a really big thing that, it takes a while to learn. You actually, if you just shove this, like if you just find a wave, like okay, so say your two waves just collide and you ult just to shove it, you can actually just
So,
go B then and walk back to lane without missing anything, essentially. Like maybe one or two minions. Because this Fiora is just looking to keep trying to push you in under the tower. Like they're just looking at her play style. She wants to keep you pressured. So just knowing that you can go back and come back to lane without having to burn that teleport means that
and
you can use it to go like bot lane or something like that, or like a dragon fight, which is going to be happening probably pretty soon. Yeah, she really wants to keep
Fiddle
you
came
from
top,
Lowry.
and
Oh, poor
he wants to
Fiora.
take the tower.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually, like if I'm really ahead, like right now I'm at 81 CS, which I think having, I don't know if 81 at 12 minutes in is
That's pretty good. Yeah, that's nothing to be
pretty good.
ashamed of.
Yeah. Like I've had like my recent Irelia games, I've had about 100 per 10, around like 30 minutes, for example.
Hmm.
But that was also me just constantly split pushing and not,
Yeah.
well, like I was putting a lot more pressure top, than I
Yeah.
normally would.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, the longer you stay in a side lane and force people there, like the higher your CS, that's just naturally your CS is gonna be a lot higher than as if you were roaming and grouping with the team because you're sitting there and farming minions. Like you're making sure you get every single one. While roaming, there's ways to micromanage the lane so that you have time to roam and then come back and collect CS, but you're still gonna lose a few. So your CS just by virtue is gonna be a little higher in that situation. But yeah, like even though you were having problems, like a couple problems farming earlier on, like right now your CS is beautiful. So like it's just like don't not letting the little things like that get to you. Like this is
And then so I ended up I Phage Sheen and I bought a cloth armor and I sold that health potion for
yeah, a pink ward. That's really good.
pink. Okay.
Alright, so pink wards are essentially mobile objective creators because they take 5 hits to clear. So that's like a long time depending on who's clearing it, because generally like a mid laner or a support or won't like have that attack speed just clear it instantly. But it denies vision in an area depending on where you put it, and it essentially secures vision around that area for you. The enemy team has to clear that pink ward if they want to start trying to get any vision in that area. So dropping a pink like strategically dropping pinks is it's a hard skill to learn, but once you master it, like you can actually start forcing the enemies into an uncomfortable situation with the vision game, because pinks, while they, a lot of people will just, throw a pink down in a ward and leave it there the entire game because they don't go away. Why should I have to buy another one or something like that?
And yep.
But you can move them around and essentially create pressure just by spending 100 gold applies so much pressure on the map, just because they can't have vision in that area any longer. So they have to clear it if they want to be able to take vision there. So, yeah, the pink wards that you get, the value pink wards where you put in some random bush out in no man's land where it's seeing something that doesn't even matter. Yeah, I mean, it's always good to see that because you're like, oh yeah, I participated in the vision game. I had a pink ward out all game. But what is that pink ward actually doing for you? It's that kind of situation with them. So, yeah,
Possibly.
where you put your pink's really good. That's just a good spot.
I don't think I'm dead here. Nope. Okay.
Yeah, when going
so
aggressive this far up in lane, you gotta be sure that you can either get away because you don't have anything really behind you at that point. You're really far up in the lane.
Yeah.
So
that was.
Yeah, it's just calculated aggression at that point because we know she has ignite, so she has and she's Fiora, so in those higher extended trades, she's definitely gonna come out ahead because you max D. Once you hit level 13, that won't be the case as much anymore. But for now, she'll come out ahead in extended trades. So just knowing that, where you're at in the lane also is really big. This is an interesting fight in bot lane. The friggin' combat fiddle. That was pretty funny.
I don't know if I should flash on him. I can kill him. I don't know if my flash is worth. Never mind.
If you can
flash
for a kill, just go for it.
I'm glad I didn't flash.
Oh.
I realized that I have Tabby on him. He doesn't have boots.
Yeah.
Last thing I was like, oh, well, I'm not gonna be able to catch him. And normally, if I just stopped myself and thought about it for a second, and I was like, oh,
Yeah, you didn't. Yeah, definitely didn't need to flash there because Irelia's got that natural movement. She's got the tier 2 boots, but then you can just blade surge into the minion wave that's coming up. Even if you don't get the reset on your blade surge, it's still gonna close that gap and allow you to get the stun or a slow off on her. So that's the good thing about Irelia is that you don't have to you have a lot of built-in movement I was talking about earlier, just from that phage, the blade surge, and just a 60% slow, which is really nice. So situations like that, just sitting there thinking about it for a moment, that was really smart of you. So good job on that one. Yeah, I'm not noticing any glaring, super glaring mistakes when it's coming to laning or anything like that. You're laning really well. You're capitalizing on trades that are good for you. There's a couple little things that that you can work on from that'll just help your gameplay out a little bit. But you're doing really well from right now. Yeah, and the red buff is that's really nice to have.
Oh god, that was really bad on my part. Oh, I didn't know he did not have ulti, or that Melzar had ult, and I just died for no reason.
I haven't seen what's...
Oh, that was bad. That was really bad. I wasted teleport and gave up that red buff.
Yeah, you got a little greedy for the Vayne.
That was bad.
Yeah. In that situation, just hurting on the Mals would have been good. But that's okay. You didn't give up the red buff. What you did was you transferred the red buff cross map to Callista.
Okay.
But yeah, it's your laning's fine, but it's just team fighting. I guess just focus on the highest priority target within your reach. Don't just get really greedy for kills like that in the future, because they can
And
backfire.
that's something I have a really big issue with on Irelia,
Hmm.
especially like um, granted, I mean, I feel like the games are already won. Just for example, the last ranked Irelia game I had, I ended 25-13, I think.
Hmm.
But I was also full damage. Is something I generally won't do unless, like for example, I was playing against Singe,
Hmm.
and he was 9-0-21 masteries.
Yeah.
It was really squishy,
Hmm.
and I ended up maxing E that game just so I could stick to him better.
Yeah.
And I basically went full damage after T gave me first blood.
Yeah, like in those situations, that's pretty good. In team fights, Irelia's main primary role is a diver. You know, she wants to get into the back line and essentially just fuck up their
Oh, I didn't
carries. Like that's
accidentally press her.
it's all good. Your ult's not even a long cooldown, so it doesn't even matter. Um, but I really wants to get back there, cause the AD carry or mid laner's life to be a living hell essentially, because I just saw the R. Because she's got a lot of sticking power, and the only really AD carry that can keep them off her is probably Vayne. That's a really good job on the mouse hard close. Yeah. You should probably look to pop W before you Blade Surge. I don't know if that was just like an accident, but it applies. Blade Surge will apply the heat and style true damage when you use it. So it's generally better to pop it before, but it's just a thing. Whatever. But that's generally your goal. You're not really good at anything else. Like, you don't have the tools in your kit to be an amazing peeler or to disengage really well. You just lack in that. I really just lacks as a champion in that regard. But you're one hell of a diver, so you want to look for situations to where you can go into their backline and essentially just cause havoc. While letting your backline, and maybe another peeler or something like that, do work back there while you do what you do. She's a very proactive champion. I feel she takes matters into her own hands when it comes to, just her play style. You just go in. She's a good initiator because you got a hard stun, or a really solid slow. And if you get a Randuin's, you can also slow the enemy team as you dive on in. So, that's really what you're looking to try and do in team fights. Just find a high priority target and stick to them. I'll have to see more team fighting to see what it looks like, but just from the one team fight I saw, chasing a Udyr is
yeah, which I swear I had the Q. I swear the range was high enough for that.
Yeah,
I don't.
It's fine. That's a fine flash. If you can flash and get something out of it, it's usually pretty worth it. So, a kill, you saved your fiddlesticks, and you got a red buff out of it. So there's nothing really to be ashamed of on that flash. Yeah, it sucks that you couldn't just Blade Surge over the wall because he wasn't close enough. But you don't have to be stingy with your flash, especially in solo queue. If you find an opportunity that flash will get you ahead, just do it. Use it. It's not going to be the end of the world. You may have to play a little more passively while it's on cooldown, but definitely don't be afraid to use it to get ahead.
I'm only 20 CS above Fiora, but I do have the 2 kills and 2 assists.
Yeah, and sometimes the enemy laner's just going to be able to farm about as well as you can. There's not really much you can do about it. Fiora still does farm really well, and she's done a pretty good job at managing her waves, so she could always catch it and get the farm. So it's it's not the worst thing in the world. You would just want to be strong, so you're stronger than her though still, so it's not a big of an issue. Like you said, you have the 2 kills up, so. Alright, so in this situation, yeah, Randoms would be a really good buy. Because your team, with you and Fiddle just diving straight into the enemy team, you being able to slow everybody in the Fiddle, that's really solid.
So I usually this game I'm not, but usually I'll go Trinity into Ghostblade, depending on.
Ghostblade, yeah, I can see why like you do that, but I personally I don't like that. If I'm looking for damage, like more damage, I'll either go with the Blade of the Rune King or Wit's End actually.
And
It's not as popular of an item anymore, but against like a triple AP team, so say like I'll go Wit's End only if like they have 2 or 3 heavy APs. Like I'm not gonna take it against like a Fiora Udyr or anything like that. That'd be silly. But like Blade of the Rune King, it essentially accomplishes the same goal as Youmuu's when it comes down to it, but it does its job a little better. For like Irelia, I feel, because you want to stick to a target, and you have a lot in your kit to do that. But sometimes you can still find it, rather difficult. Blade of the Rune King, like Youmuu's gives you the slight attack speed increase and the slight movement and the movement speed increase. It extends for every time you auto attack. And having Blade Surge, automatically give you that auto attack too, is really helpful for it. So, it's not the worst item in that situation, but Blade of the Rune King gives you constant attack speed. It gives you lifesteal, which synergizes really well with your W, and the Triforce proc, because lifesteal procs off of that Triforce proc.
Huh.
And it also allows you to slow an enemy target, which not only and speeds you up, so which not only allows you to stick better to a target, but allows anyone else that may be trying to stay on that target to stick to them too. Like, if you bork a vein, that's not only going to help you, it's going to help anyone else trying to stay on that vein. You know what I mean?
Okay, so I bought Randuin's. I have about 600 gold. Would it be beneficial for me to upgrade my sweeper now?
There's no real reason to upgrade your sweeper. There's no stealth on the enemy team. That's the only real reason you'd need to upgrade it. Supports generally will upgrade it earlier. Right now, I just try and get some MR, maybe a Banshees. Because Malzahar is... You're running CDR, and Malzahar is starting to tear you a new one. If you're ever getting into a fight, he will wreck you. So, some MR in this situation would be really good. There goes my mic again. Alright, there we go.
Okay, so Udyr has Trinity, and he has Juggernaut.
Yeah, you should be able to duel him, no problem. He's not running Devourer, like... his damage is really low. It's all physical and really low. So, definitely don't worry about him. If he was running Devourer or Triforce with Tiger and Phoenix Max, then maybe you should be a little worried about that.
Oh, I wasted Flash. I thought I had him.
I'll watch.
That was really bad. Oh well, that's fine, I guess. Did I? I mean, it's...
Yeah.
I thought I wasted Flash, but...
Yeah. It's unfortunate. Like, chasing Udyr's, like, essentially the same thing as chasing Sin. You just kind of let him go. He's really fast. Unless you can, like, keep him... If he ran down the lane, it would have been a little better. But he was smart about it, and he started to run through the jungle where you couldn't keep jumping to minions. So... that was good on him, but yeah, in that situation, it would have just been better after he smited you to just let him go. Because you burned something from him, because now he can't get, like, a jungle buff that he would like to have. Like, maybe you'd like to smite the crows for some extra ward clearing. You take the small victories.
Okay, so I'm gonna go Banshees, and then maybe Guardian Angel?
Yeah, GA would be pretty good. That'll like make you really unattractive for that Malzahar, so he'll just be like, I really don't want to, and then you can just interrupt him whenever he does it. And that also just helps against Fiora.
Fiora's top, so I should probably... Oh, Udyr's here.
Yeah, in this situation, you definitely want to start getting wards, though, because your top side of the map is really dark. It's real scary to be pushed up beyond the river if you can't see what's coming at you.
And especially because I don't have Flash.
Yes, yeah, that's really key. You don't have Flash, so just let your team like apply pressure mid lane while you keep trying to keep the top lane minion wave shoved, or you can go down there with them. Either one would work in the situation.
I think I'm gonna stay mid. At Fiora's at my tower, so
Yeah, you have teleport.
probably.
She doesn't. So your TP should be up here soon. So just go defend the tower and TP in when you see the chance, because you'll be able to join a fight while she won't.
And I killed her, basically.
Yep. She can't fight you. Like, you're way too strong. You've got Tabby
And
and Randuin's.
fortunately, my team, I don't know if they got caught. Oh, or like if the enemy team
Engaged on him.
engaged on them, but he's dead.
Vlad just wasn't grouped, so they played a little too. They postured too aggressively in a 3v4. It looks like, just from judging from the minimap.
Hmm. And okay, she's going Infinity Edge.
Fiora, or
Yeah, Fiora is.
that's fine. She doesn't have enough crit to make that work. Like, yeah, it might be scary if she does crit, but you still got like a solid 200 armor under your belt, just about. So without a Last Whisper, she's gonna be doing negligible damage to you.
And I probably should have at least helped Callista there instead of diving onto Vayne, but she also is extremely mobile, so I think that's okay for me to leave her
Yeah.
to Udyr like that.
Yeah, that's fine. Oh, 1 second.
And take Scuttle Crab and... Okay. Well, we have our third dragon, which that's move speed, so...
Yeah, that'll really help you when it comes to chasing and catching people. So, yeah, your team's done a really good job of securing dragon stuff. They've just been caught out in a couple of weird spots, unfortunately, a couple of times. So, you've been playing this game really well, though, so far, given the tools that you have to work with. Because you got a Fiora, essentially, that won't leave top lane for any reason whatsoever. Like, I don't think I've seen her in a single team fight yet. So, just
No,
be...
I think she's trying to stay away from me.
Yeah, but
And
she's trying to
that's
force
yeah.
you somewhere out, like to be not with your team. But since you have teleport, that's kind of like negligible anyway. Oh, they have a Vayne. Shit, I didn't even realize.
Oh, man.
I thought that was a Caitlyn. My eyesight's really bad. Yeah. Okay, so maybe getting the upgraded sweeper would be a good idea. That one's my fault.
That's okay. And we just won 3, or, well, it wasn't necessarily a fight, but we just traded 0 for 3.
That's really good.
And I can go ahead and take this.
Yeah, go ahead and get whatever objectives you can. Yeah, that's a team
And-
fight right there. That's a skirmish. That's what it's called, a skirmish.
Okay, I just almost died, but just got mid turret,
That's really good.
right, so.
Objectives
And
are
I
good.
don't have. And I don't have Banshees yet, so I can go take bot farm. That's also something I used to. I got myself to improve on. I was always afraid to take farm,
Hmm.
in, like side lanes, for example.
Yeah, when you're on a champion like
definitely.
Irelia, definitely side lane farming is a good idea. When you're talking about tankier champions, like your Maokai, your Malphite, things like that, then you generally will want to leave farm up for your mid and bot laner, because they're the ones doing the damage. You're fine. You can be have an impact with like 2 items on those champions, whereas your carries need a lot more, essentially. So like, Irelia, definitely, she's really item dependent. Really good idea to take farm on her. So, yeah, like your CS is really good. Yeah, you have a really good score, and you've been managing your minion wave fairly well. It could still use some work. Just what I mean by managing your minion wave is, just having it. Do you know what microing a minion wave means?
So like for example, like leaving a discrepancy between the minions if I want to like go and join my team.
Exactly.
And then
Yeah, what you do is
I'm kinda
you
like-
kill off the caster minions. If it's a good idea to start doing that about when the wave hits the halfway point, like around the river. Just kill out, like if once you get the wave there, kill off all the casters and let it slow push. This gives you the ability to roam around with your team
crap.
instead of having to burn TP. Ooh, this looks
Yeah, that was really bad on my part, and I probably could have turned around and did something there.
yeah, with Raka there, you probably could just jump back on the vein and applied some pressure, but cause yeah, Raka is...
And I shouldn't be against the wall right here. Oh no. Okay. My team just saved me. Thank you, team. Oh, that was really bad. I definitely could have turned on.
Yeah, you could have turned on Vayne a little earlier, I feel. Because Raka provides a lot of healing, and so if you just peel for her, Vayne shouldn't be able to kill you in that situation.
And I also just noticed Soraka has Ardent Sensor, which
Yeah.
would have been even better for me. So, and I had Randoids up.
Yeah, so you're even though you're like you do damage, you're still primarily a tank. Irelia is just a tank she's a bruiser essentially. Yeah, bruiser. She can do damage, but essentially what you want to do with your primary function is to absorb damage. But you're not as good at it as say Maokai, but you still can serve that function fairly well with your natural tankiness. So,
Okay.
but anyway, what I was talking about.
Really.
Yeah, what I was talking about by managing the minion wave is generally when the wave hits around the yeah, you burned his flash like that. After that, you should just probably actually I think do you get it? I don't know.
No, it was really close. Janna ended
Yeah,
up.
Janna tornado. There we go.
Mhm.
That's unfortunate. Yeah, if Janna wasn't there, you probably could have gotten that. So that chase was fine. You actually he was running down the minion the wave, so you could use that to get to him. So that's not too bad. But all right, I'm gonna finish my thought here. I promise. So,
Managing the minion wave.
yeah, when you get the minion wave to the midway point, if you just kill the caster minions, it will start to slow push towards the enemy. This allows you to roam
Okay.
with your team and, generally not have to worry about your lane. This also starts, creating essentially a time bomb for the enemy team of pressure, because those minions will stack up and they will become a problem eventually that they're going to have to deal with. So if you do that around, like, when your team's trying to focus down another objective, like, say, a mid tower, a bot tower or something, and you micro top lane, they're going to have to send someone to clear all that. Otherwise, the tower's going to get taken, or they're going to get denied, like, 7-8 minion waves. And that is a huge amount. Like, that is a massive amount of minions to be denied. So they have to send somebody to clear. And that someone's probably going to be Fiora. And she doesn't have teleport. So that's when your team can just muscle their way in and take whatever objective you were gunning for. And, just creating pressure through minions is, like, really good. It also helps a lot against Udyr, because he can't split push as effectively if all the lanes are, pushing into him. So against those heavy split push champions, micromanaging minion waves is really good. That's a solid way to counter them. Like your Tryndamirs, Fiora, Udyr, those kinds of champions. The ones we all hate playing against. Oh god, here goes Trick 2G.
Yeah. I was confused because I'm like, what is everybody doing? And then I was like, oh, there's an Udyr going by me. I'm just gonna go back and protect the middle lane.
Yeah. Because that's essentially he's trying to create pressure through being an idiot and baiting your team into fighting him.
So
So
pretty much like what a Cinch would want to
Yeah.
attempt to do.
yeah, essentially he's just doing the same thing. So if you just ignore him, go for whatever fights you can get, and like if your team went to Baron right now and you went bot or top, beautiful. Is that what happens here? Please tell me it's what happens.
Yes, it is. I'm
Perfect.
actually really happy that I did I did that correctly.
Yes, that is
'Cause I-
really good. Because you...
Because I recognized that their AD carry and support were dead,
Mhm.
and there's a big wave, and we had Callista, Fiddle, and Vlad. Yeah, going to Baron.
Yeah. So, in that situation, like, I feel like after you had gotten, that top minion wave pushed out a little bit, like, recalling to go deal with that Udyr probably would have been a little better, because you had the empowered recall. we'll just like save
Plus,
standard
yeah.
time. But Soraka did it anyway, so it's whatever. But yeah, you have teleport, so you're extremely mobile on the map. So when your team goes to do Baron, yeah, you have really strong Baron takers on your team. So you can go micromanage those minion waves so that when you guys group up to push an objective, your minion waves are already in your favor. You've got pressure on the map already, so you can do what you want. That is really good. That's what you want to try and do with that, like creating that pressure. That's like that's something top laners can do to help, create pressure for their team. It's hard
Just
to find ways to do that, but like with the teleport, that's like the top laner's thing, is managing minion waves. Like minion wave management is top priority for a top laner to learn, because that is how you help your team. Whoops, I accidentally paused the stream because
So, Fior's solo pushing top, and Soraka and Calista are coming behind her. But I don't know if they're gonna keep coming, which it doesn't look like they are. Fiora backed off when she saw me, the minion wave.
yeah, that's really good. Like especially now if you just split push, because you have Baron, so those minions are going to be massive. So if you have your team just like go bot, like just tell your team to go bot lane and start pressuring. Ooh, that's not good. But if you had just told your team to go bot lane and start pressuring, while you split top, that's so much pressure. Like Baron is really good on split pushers right now, but you get this tower anyway, and Mal's just completely wasted his ultimate.
Yeah, I'm not sure why he ulted me.
Died, so you should be able to get another tower off that, do you?
Yes, and we actually just took the inhib.
Inhibitor? Good. Yeah, see, things like that. That's exactly what you want to be doing in that situation.
There's a clip that I wanna send you.
Okay.
Because I try to stream as
Yeah.
often as I can, because it makes me want to play this game a lot more while I'm streaming. And essentially, the game was pretty much over. I was about 30% HP, and I hit tab, noticed that like the enemy Vigar was about to be up, and so I basically just ran away from the enemy Janna, and I ended up I think I just got a really lucky crit on this Vigar, because I maybe had like one tank item and 2 damage items. And I rewatched the clip just to like check, like see what I could have done better. Like, could I have killed Janna, for example, or could I have kept pushing? Because one of my teammates were like, "Oh, you could have taken the last Nexus," or
Yeah, I'll definitely analyze
tower.
it. And with you after this. Replay analysis is a really good way to learn. Like, there's a lot you can learn in-game, yeah, but just looking over past games and seeing, like, what you could have done better, what you could have done differently, is also a really valuable tool in learning how to play this game. Because it teaches you essentially not to make the same mistakes over again. Like, if you see that you're in a similar situation, you'll know how to react to it. So, yeah, replay analysis, definitely a really good way to go through learning, so we can take a look at that. Kind of as our closing thing.
Okay.
Because my friend asked me to do something for his team after this, so.
And I also for like future coaching, would I just go through? Would I just ask you for it, or just go through the website as well?
It'd just be best to go through the website, because there I have all my schedule like for the next 2 weeks all planned out and everything like that. So it just helps me to know like which segments of time I need to block off, like which works best for you. It cuts out a lot of the talking part, about like figuring out. It's just like, all right, I want to go here because this works for me, and you already have it open. So if you liked how I was able to go through like this and help, then yeah, feel free to just reschedule another one whenever you want.
Yeah.
And if you don't have to necessarily have like a plan or anything like that, you can take it one thing at a time. 'Cause, an hour it's generally enough time for one game, or reviewing one, or maybe 2 replays depending on how it goes. So you're not going to see like super massive drastic improvement after one coaching session. You'll find a few things that you could improve on and stuff like that, and you might notice some slight improvement, but it takes time afterwards to actually be able to practice what was pointed out on for you. So after like I feel like after 3-4 coaching sessions, people should start to actually see a lot of improvement in their gameplay.
We just tried diving. That was really bad.
That fiddle.
Actually, no, I can't do anything here. I'm gonna go back and.
Okay, so.
Probably go Blade of the Ranking.
Yeah, Bork would be a alright item here. Doing some more damage. Like, you're really tanky, so doing some more damage wouldn't hurt. Yeah, I feel like after you got that like one kill on the Malzahar and blew him up, just focusing on down the tower would have been the better option there. Instead of just keeping on diving. Because it's really hard to get back there.
Actually, I'm gonna try something here. If the minion will catch back up. Oh man. Oh my god. Okay. I just goofed really hard. No!
Yes.
No, I didn't use randomness.
Looking at this, it already seems like a really aggressive play.
Yep, that was bad. My bad.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Yeah,
I underestimated my damage. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, she has...
It's really hard to stick onto a Vayne by yourself, let alone a Vayne with a Janna right next to her. Like that's
she has Spirit Visage and double lifesteal items.
Yeah, that just makes for a shitty situation to be stuck in. It's just like that happens to all of us, so there's no need to be worried about that shit. That's a classic case of overestimation. Don't worry about it. Like you're like, oh, I'm like super strong. I can totally take. And then you get in there and like, oh no, I can't do this. What have I done?
Oh wow,
that was. It's all good. Yeah, it's all good. Sometimes you need someone to put you in your place. So you don't throw at a more critical point or something like that.
I should have hit tab and looked to see items.
Yeah, that's definitely a really good thing to be doing. Like even in laning phase, just looking at the enemy's items before you start trying to trade, so you know how you should be trying to trade and stuff like that. Damn, you guys are getting split pushed hard.
Oh, Baron! I just noticed Baron's up. I shouldn't be bought without teleport.
You don't have TP. Just try and get it microing, and then just run.
There we go.
Glad I feel done with this game. That's funny.
He went DFG. Wow. Okay, and Vayne sold Div for Dancer. Okay.
Okay.
I think we can take Baron here without them coming. I'm just gonna make sure that there's no wards in the area. And okay.
Make sure you at least secure the Scuttle Crab before you start Baron, because the Scuttle Crab is it's a free ward and it's a move speed boost, so you can get out of there if shit hits the fan, you know.
Oh, and I'm gonna just which we didn't take the Scuttle Crab. We did get Baron.
That's good.
Okay, Vlad has Udyr, so.
Ooh, that was a nice pick on the Janna. What the? Oh, you had Banshees. Okay. I was like, wait, why didn't you go anywhere with that Janna ult? Yeah, you had Banshees up. That was really good, yeah. And then
she just got blown up.
Udyr doing Udyr things.
And, Kalista has her, possibly? Yep. Oh god.
That was, really good, by the way. I don't know if you did this intentionally or not, but when you were dashing, you waited for the cooldown in your Triforce before dashing a second time, so you could guarantee yourself a reset.
No.
Yeah, that's what ended up happening. So just like keep that in mind when you're like trying to use minions to catch someone. To always be sure that you'll get the reset by waiting for a Triforce proc if there's no like urgent need to catch up to them.
I usually try to wait until at least my E's up to queue to somebody.
Yeah, that also helps. Yeah, having your E up, like waiting for that's really good too, because you can Q to them, but like what's gonna stop them from just keep walking? But don't let that generally stop you, because when you do Blade Surge, you get the Rage proc from your Triforce. So don't get like scared to just Blade Surge somebody, because you will have the movement speed to keep up with them.
Something I do generally do often on Irelia is, for example, if I'm trying to chase somebody down, around maybe level 6, when I can't use like QW
Yeah.
or like killing casters, I will like alt waves down and then get the reset off that.
Yeah. That's a really good skill, and it takes a lot of practice in order to do. So it's really good that you're able to see these things. It's just working on the little things that I was pointing out earlier. In lane, just knowing, like, just to kind of recap, just knowing your levels, like when you're gonna level, so you can apply more pressure that way, or prevent yourself from having pressure applied. Really good. Just kind of work on that, like in your game. Just try and get a feel for when you're gonna hit like a certain level. Work with your wave management, because like. That game was like a really good example as to why teleport's really strong, because you were able to just manage side waves while your team was able to do other things that kind of stop that split push team in their tracks. Because Udyr and Fiora both wanted to split push, but you're able to manage the side waves pretty moderately effectively and prevent them from getting more than they should have. So that kind of like showcases the power of that summoner spell. Like if you know what you're doing with it, and it takes some time. It just takes games with teleport to understand how to teleport. But overall, like I wasn't noticing any like glaring laning errors or anything like that. Like you understand the fundamentals of the champion, which is really good. So I was able to go into more in-depth things with you about it, which is really nice, because I've been teaching a lot of people basics the past day. So I guess
I think I'm almost at 100 games played on her.
Yeah. So I was able to teach you things like the whole level thing. Like that's not something you can teach to people who just don't understand the champion fundamentally.
Okay.
So
that's I'm gonna type it down so I know.
Okay.
I can look back at it. So I know level 2 is first full wave in the first melee.
Yes. Level 3 is the full 2 waves, and first 3 melee minions of the third wave is level 3.
Okay. And then
level 4 is the entire wave after that, after the cannon wave. So the entire 4th wave.
Okay, so level 4 on 4th wave.
Yes, after you kill everything. And that's especially barring that you get every single minion of EXP. It may vary if you get to lane a little late because you're helping your jungler or something like that. So just kind of just remember to be flexible about it. You can generally approximate it pretty well, but those are the timings you want to look for in lane.
And let me pull this video really quick.
Yeah, go ahead and just link me the replay real quick.
And and if I can press enter, there we go.
Okay.
Which just watching over the video, I could have saved my Cassiopeia.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it real quick, and I'll tell you how things.
It's a Janna.
Okay. So, things I noticed in that situation. First off, yeah, you probably could have saved your Cassiopeia, but that's more on her than it is on you for dying, so don't really worry about that. Yeah, Vagar was up, but you have Baron on you. Okay,
Oh, that's right.
yeah, you have Baron on you, and you had a ton of minions sitting behind you, and
Also, okay.
Baron's super minions are essentially little champions because they hurt and they don't die. So I definitely feel like you could have stayed in and taken that tower. For sure taken that tower. Like that Janna, like you didn't have to go for the Janna or anything, but you definitely had the capability of taking that tower at the very least. You know, after that, that's up to you to play it how you feel, but in that situation you definitely had the time to do that. It's just being situationally aware of these kinds of things, because like, yeah, early on, like, your Cassiopeia just wrecked that Lee Sin and Nasus, and that's how that one ended. But you had 2, 4, 6, 7 caster minions, a super minion, and a cannon minion, all doing damage to the tower. So yeah, I definitely feel like you could have stayed, because even if you hadn't hit the tower yourself, just being there to give the minions Baron buff definitely would have gotten the tower. But I don't know if that would like change the outcome of the game. You guys won this, right? I assume.
Yeah, that was one game.
Yeah, like it wouldn't have won you the game any sooner or anything. Like, yeah, you would have gotten the Nexus tower, but I mean, you couldn't have finished it in that time. I still don't feel, but like maybe you could have. I don't know. It would have been like that's the kind of situation where it's like it'd be scary to try and do that. Like, so I completely understand like you backing off and everything like that. Like, but yeah, I feel like you could have gotten that tower and then backed off and still would have had the same result in that situation. So, you played it well. You went for the objectives, well, because you have the stronger tower taking ability with your Triforce procs and everything than a Cassiopeia, and she just kind of mowed through the enemy team.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I feel about that little clip there.
Okay.
Okay.
That's really the only one I have of me actually playing any champion other than a support.
So yeah, feel free. Like, so I have to take off here in a couple, like 2-3 minutes. So any final questions here? Just anything that you have at the very end.
I guess like the big key points I should probably that I should focus on.
Okay, big things you should focus on. Micromanaging minions, learning how to use teleport, and like the whole leveling game I was talking about earlier. Just knowing, like, the micromanaging minions and teleport thing go hand in hand, because like I was saying earlier, you don't have to always burn TP to get back to lane. If you can shove a wave out and then go back, you'll make it back before you miss anything. God damn it, Mike. You'll make it back before you miss anything.
Okay.
So, yeah, it just takes games to understand that, and the more games you play and the more games you focus on these things, the better you'll notice that it'll just start happening naturally. It'll just become something, instead of something you have to think about, it's just something that you do. So that's what I feel that you should be working on right now. But yeah, you got the basics down, so that's really good. So now you can start working on those little things that make you a much better player. Like this is what separates like plats from diamonds and stuff like that. This kind of thing.
Okay. So I'm definitely going to be probably the same time, as much as possible.
Yeah, feel free. I've got my schedule all there. Just if you see a time that you want to go on, feel free to register for it. I can only do like this particular time on Wednesdays and Saturdays, because those are my 2 days off. I have practice right now for my ranked 5s team from 7 to like 10, 11 my time, so it can be a little difficult on those days. So yeah, if you just want to schedule at 7 on all my days off, feel free. I don't.
Okay, and so because let's see here, I can do earlier.
Yeah.
the reason I wasn't sure, like for example, I work in the morning,
Yeah.
which I work at home, so but
Yeah,
it was like I'm not sure if I'm gonna work over when I usually do. So
yeah, so just feel free to
probably
schedule
I'll
whenever works for you. Like it'd be like if you did do that, just saying like a hypothetical, if you did do the whole Wednesday Saturday booking thing, it would actually be really good because that gives you time between each lesson to work on what had happened, like what we talked about previously. So you could show up with like at least some mastery of those
and
things.
then if I have any questions that I'm not sure on things, then
Exactly. Yeah.
okay.
Because, like, there, like, I had one guy talking to me about he wanted, like, a lesson every day, and I'm like, that won't, like, yeah, it's good, but it doesn't give you time to practice what I'm telling you to. So, yeah, having a couple days between where you can just sit down by yourself and work on it is really good, and then kind of have an an evaluation and, new teachings. So, yeah, that'd be good. So, just if you see a time that you want to take, feel free to sign up for it, and I'll accept it when I see it.
Okay. I'll probably take up maybe 2 blocks
That's fine.
on Saturday. So
I'm more than down.
well, I really appreciate it. This is definitely something that I've needed. I've really been wanting to improve myself at this game. And I honestly feel like I could probably be extremely good at this game.
Yeah, there's
Just
a lot of people could be like really good. It's just that most people don't know what they need to do next, essentially. And that's the whole point of this coaching. It's to help you along as a player.
but I will let you go do what you need to do. So
Okay.
I'm probably gonna play 2 ranked games tonight and then practice
Yeah, that's
what you told me to. So
that's all good. It's just that stuff I was talking about earlier. That applies to like both solo lanes too, like with the whole minion leveling thing. Bot lane's a completely different nightmare.
that one I'm a little bit more used to, because of the amount
Yeah.
bot lane I've been playing lately.
Yeah. So have fun in your ARAM.
I'm definitely going to. And what was I gonna say? Because I originally the reason I stopped playing top was around the Mundo. I think Mundo
God.
Shyvana.
Don't remind me, please.
Oh my god. Because it was so stale, and I was like, okay, I'm probably just gonna transition to learning mid.
Yeah.
And that was going decently well.
Mhm.
And I placed plat 1 this season, and I dropped really hard. I dropped extremely hard, and I mean I stayed in plat the entire time, but I teetered every area of plat.
Okay.
So
Yeah, so just learning one role and sticking with it will definitely help. Because there's a lot of stuff that you can learn in every role that translates just to the other roles by nature of the game. So it helps in solo queue too, because you're not always going to get what you want to play.
that's definitely true.
Yeah.
Which is why I try to play everything that I can.
Yep. I just say, like, when I go into solo queue, I say pref top but will fill. Because I can play everything. It may not be as strong as my top lane, but I can still play it. Let's see.
I'll probably schedule the thing probably before I go to bed, so
That's fine.
You'll probably see that later.
All right. Well, I look forward to working with you again because that was you were a really good student too. You took
Thank you.
took a lot of the
really
criticism
appreciate
really
that.
well. And you've I'm still learning here as a coach, so there's things I go back and I watch all my lessons again just to look at little things that I could work on personally. Like I'll have this up as a YouTube video, just to so people can learn from that too. Because I do this coaching because I want to. I don't care about getting paid for it or anything like that. I just genuinely like helping people. So put if you're all right with it, I'm just gonna upload this to YouTube. So if you want to go back and listen to it at any point, it'll be there for you
definitely.
too. And you could
yeah, and so leaving a positive review also helps me out a little bit. So there's my little shameless
I will
self plug.
definitely.
There's my
Oh,
shameless self plug.
I really enjoyed this today. So I feel like I now know what areas I really need to focus on, and like I kind of had a general idea like with the teleport and everything, because I was always unsure whether like when to actually use it and everything like that.
Yeah.
And oh,
It just takes time. So, yeah, I look forward to working with you again. I have to take off now, so
okay,
that will be it for tonight. Thank you very much, and I will
welcome.
see you later.
Okay, have a good night.
You too. Everything's screwing up. Alright, what's the best way to relearn the jungle? Sorry, I am back. Looking at chat. Best way to relearn the jungle is to I can either refer you to Leo, who's also coaching right now, who's coaching jungle things. He's probably a lot better than that jungle talk than I am. But the best way to relearn the jungle is just to experience it. Like, it's the jungle's no longer static. I feel like you can definitely do a lot of different paths, make yourself unpredictable. Because after 3 camps, three camps, or for 3 or 4 camps, I forget. You're level 3, so you can definitely do some newer strategies. But yeah, I'm not the best person to ask for like jungle advice. That would definitely be Leo. If you want Zev, I can give you his link too, and if you want, you can schedule something with him. But yeah, jungling, that's like not my area of expertise. I apologize. Alright guys, I'm gonna bring the stream down for like a minute or two while so I can have a clean VOD of this. So I'll be back here in a couple seconds once I see that the past broadcast changes. Alright, be right back.